It was very hard to read because it was very legal.
It's trying to make a sucker out of the customer.
And fine print is everywhere, on appliance warranties, utility contracts, service agreements, and more. It's a big headache for plenty of people.
We hear from consumers on a continuous basis that they've signed contracts, and when they start trying to exercise certain rights under those contracts, they find out that there are provisions that they really hadn't focused on before.
And the way many of these companies present their rules in the fine print makes it easy for anybody to overlook important information. For example, take this airline ticket. Not only is the back covered in fine print that you can barely read, but even more information is actually hidden inside the ticket folder. To read some of the fine print, you literally have to tear apart the ticket envelope.
I think what we have are major retailers sometimes, credit card companies, banks, appliance retailers and others who use fine print, or mouse print we call it sometimes, to frankly deceive consumers by hiding some very, very significant facts about the transaction in this mouse print.
But often the deception is simply a matter of highlighting certain bits of important information and not highlighting others.
I think we've all received credit card offerings that say 6.9%, 6.5%, this is yours, all you have to do is sign up. Well, you have to read that very carefully, and once you read it, you will see that that introductory offer is for a very limited period of time. It could be for as short a time as 6 months.
But some ads make it almost impossible for you to read the fine print at all. We've all seen car commercials that flash a paragraph full of information at the bottom of the screen. We copied this one word for word from one commercial, but the type is so small you could easily miss important information about lease payments, or taxes, title, and license fees, or even mileage information. And not only that, but most car commercials don't leave the fine print on the screen long enough for you to read it. Remember that fine print we showed you just a second ago? Well, we can't show you the commercial that it came from, but we can show you the exact amount of time that it stays on the screen. Check this out. "5 seconds. I mean, you need to take a speed reading course just to know what you're buying.
Our advice to consumers in those situations is certainly before entering into any transaction like that, you have to get all the information down and understand it.
But I gotta tell you, it's not just some TV ads where you can get burned if you don't read the fine print. For example, take this newspaper ad for a certain cell phone company that mentions double talk as part of its sales pitch. Well, we found 2 cell phone customers who believe this company also has plenty of double talk as part of its service agreement. Meet James Feldman and meet Denise Peterson, 2 cell phone customers who got burned by not reading or completely understanding the fine print. James and Denise each bought a second cell phone for a year, but when they tried to make some changes in their agreement at the end of that year, they were told they couldn't do so without having to pay a penalty fee. It was something they missed in the fine print.
It's almost as if they're embarrassed they're doing this to you. That along with all the other hoopla, we're giving you this phone and we're doing this and our service is great. Oh, by the way, we gotcha if you sign on our contract. Well, nobody wants to say that, so they hide it in here.
As a consumer, how would you like these contracts to read?
Well, I think it should read so a normal, ordinary person can decipher exactly what it says. You shouldn't have to be a lawyer or go to have a law degree to figure it out.
Things should be presented in a simple and direct way so that everyone can understand what they're getting into.
Now, there's a saying that goes, let the buyer beware. So here's a few tips to help you be wary of some of those fine print pitfalls. The most obvious thing to keep in mind is to read everything thoroughly. Companies put that fine print there for a reason. Next, be skeptical of what you read in most ads. Fine print often takes away what's offered in the big print. If you're still confused after reading the fine print, contact the advertiser and ask questions. If they're honest about their service, they should be happy to help you. And finally, don't sign anything you don't understand. That's something Denise Peterson learned the hard way.
Fine.
No fine print for you.
No, forever. I'm going to be a very careful consumer.